Hello and welcome to a Brave Frontier unit overview video. Today we're talking about Annette, a fire mitigator who came out back in December of 2018. She is still good to this day as a substitute leader for RC7 and just in general. And when she first came out, I was super excited because, well, look at that face. That's a cute face, isn't it? Anyways, let's jump into what makes Annette such a great unit. Starting off, we have her leader skill, which has some pretty good effects for an RC7 need. While she doesn't have the parameter boost that you might expect, she does have the best fire EWD in the game at the present moment at 225%. This means that your units for RC7 are going to be dealing more damage as you're going up against elements that are weak to the squads you're using. She also provides a 20% damage reduction from fire and earth types, meaning you take less damage from the RC7 bosses. And she also boosts the Braver's gauge when you take damage. While this necessarily isn't a great thing, it does make your Braver's management a lot more, well, manageable. So it always has to have, so that way if you use your Braver's and you don't get it back after all that sparking, you can still get it back even after getting hits. Up next, we have her extra skill, which the only thing worth noting on it is the HP restoration when guarding, as you're most likely going to guard if the fists of the boss are going to stealth, so that way you don't accidentally target the body and deal damage to it and take that down before the fists. While that's not necessarily phenomenal, it's situationally good, and in this case it's fairly decent. It means you're more likely to heal up after taking all the damage from guarding and just get back to HP thresholds you need. Up next, we have her Brave Burst, which has a few useful things on it, including mitigation for 1 turn, though you can increase this to 3 turns with her enhancements. She has 15% damage reduction from fire and earth types, really useful in RC7 as you're going up against elements weaker to the elements you're using, so with Annette you're going up against earth bosses. And she also has damage taken hugely boosts Braver's gauge and may restore HP. The Braver's gauge portion of it means that you're going to be getting your SBBs back almost guaranteed. The bosses typically hit every single unit, so it's just better Braver's gauge management. And the HP restoration allows you to hit the HP thresholds you need for various skills on units and spheres. And now we get to the reason people use Annette, her super Brave Burst. There are a couple of things that are worth noting for sure, but every part of it's super useful. The first thing to talk about is her 3-turn mitigation on SBB, as well, mitigation's always nice, and for 3 turns, means you don't have to worry about it as often. She also has a chance for evasion from 1 turn, which, while it's a 20% chance, that does mean that you have a 20% chance for an attack to miss you, so it's basically like even better mitigation 20% of the time. What more could you ask for? I know, guaranteed evasion, but there are other units for that. And the last part of her main kit is her ultimate Brave Burst, which is not optimal for RC7, but winds up being fairly useful outside of it. At the present moment, there's no real content you want to use mono fire for, but should something arise, her 100% mitigation from fire and earth types means that those bosses will do literally nothing to you. Plus, she has 50% overdrive gauge fill, meaning that UBBs come out more often with her. And it pairs up nicely with units like Jizo, Zexia, Zeiss, and Bakugo and their UBBs, as, you know, they're going to be actually nuking. The reason why it's not so optimal for RC7 is because in RC7, the bosses will drain your overdrive gauge at certain thresholds. So the 50% overdrive gauge fill means you're technically not doing anything with that. And the last thing to talk about with her kit is her enhancements, which there's honestly nothing really outstanding except for perhaps the adding an attack and recovery relative to max HP for 3 turns effect to SBB, and a huge HP restoration effect to BB and SBB. The only other thing I can suggest maybe is, if you don't want to go for those two, is focus on her enhancements that boost her Brave Burst if you want to really go for that, but honestly it's not a whole lot to talk about here. So I'm just gonna leave it as what I have and just stick with that. To summarize, Annette is one of the best fire mitigators out there with her 3-turn mitigation, and making the rest of the squad super bulky as is. Her new skill provides a boost to Breaker's Gauge on hits, and a 225% boost to fire elemental damage. She winds up becoming a fairly decent substitute lead for Arceus 7, until you can replace her with a more offensive-based lead. Her UBB makes her useful outside of Arceus 7, with her 100% damage mitigation from fire and earth units, should content like that ever come up, and a bonus 50% boost to overdrive gauge fill, makes it so that way you can use UBBs more often as you're filling up that overdrive gauge super quickly. And that about does it. If you have any more questions about Annette, feel free to ask in the comments down below. If you have any more questions about Brave Frontier in general, feel free to join the Discord, which I'm going to leave in the description down below. And if you guys want another really good resource for Brave Frontier content, whether it be new game, mid-game, or in-game content, I highly recommend checking out the Brave Compendium. I will have a link to that and its Discord in the description down below as well. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!